Hey guys, welcome to episode number 9 of this All or Nothing Manchester City career mode here on FIFA 19. Again, this brought to you by the Game Changers programme. EA were kind enough to fly myself and a few other YouTubers out to Berlin to record this footage for you. Three actually very important games in today's episode. Chelsea and Manchester United up first. And then at the end of the month, there's an FA Cup semi-final against Everton. Now, I shall be simulating that game. I'm playing Chelsea and I'm playing Manchester United because, of course, we need to ensure that we get the points in the Premier League to keep our title campaign alive. This is a season-defining month in both the Premier League and the FA Cup competition. Of course, unfortunately, in the last episode yesterday, we weren't able to keep our Champions League dream alive, thanks to Juventus knocking me out on penalties. But we got off to a great start here at home against Chelsea. Although I say got off to a great start. It's the 36th minute by the time the first chance even came around, let alone the first goal. And as you can see, that was the only chance on goal in the entirety of the first half. If you cast your minds back to earlier in the season, when we played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, there weren't that many chances in that game either. Chelsea, a team that don't allow you to have many opportunities on goal, whilst also not seemingly creating too many of their own, at least not in the first half. They did so in the second half in game number 1 against them this year, but in game number 2 it seemed to be more of the same. David Silva here picking up the ball on the edge of the box, the shot actually coming off a teammate and going wide for a goal kick in the 67th minute rather than finding us a second goal. Trying to build here though with 10 minutes to go. Kevin De Bruyne pushing forward from central midfield. You see the ball on all the way through there to Leroy Sané. Should bury that in the back of the net in the bottom corner, but I may have slightly pulled that past the post by by a small margin, or an even larger one. Manchester City, 52% possession at this stage, so Chelsea had more of the ball in the second half. Cesar Azpilicueta getting the ball out wide via a teammate to Pedro here, and the shot comes in, but it's wide of the target from Olivier Giroud, I believe it was, and indeed it was. But that was the only chance they had really in the second half, after the Willian one at the beginning of the second 45, and we were able to pick ourselves up 3 points against Chelsea. Vital 3 points. Huge for the title race. What would also be a vital 3 points would be 3 here against Manchester United in the second Manchester derby of the season. Now, in the first game against Manchester United this year, we won by a 1-0. We lost to Chelsea by a 1-0. We've just beaten Chelsea, so therefore you, having gone a step better against Chelsea, you'd like to think we could go even better against Man United at this second attempt and maybe win the game by a bigger margin. If you take into account the fact that we clearly improved through the season to beat Chelsea after losing to them earlier on, if we'd already beaten Manchester United, then theoretically, if we have improved, we should be beating them by a bigger margin this time around. They, however, in the opening few moments, were having the opportunities on goal. They've struck the post already and caused me some real issues. I just can't seem to get the ball away, but thankfully Lukaku's effort there was very tame, straight down the throat of Ederson. Pushing further forward into the first half, it was still only 15 minutes in. I get really lucky with the way that I keep possession here with Ilkay Gundogan, but we get it back to Fernandinho into Phil Foden, playing his first Manchester derby for us. Across here to Riyad Mahrez, back to Grimaldo. The shot on target, but again, tame from the left foot into the hands of the goalkeeper. Now, because of the closeness in nature of these two games and the one against Chelsea, both games being played within 48 hours of each other, I was having to play a rotated side here against Manchester United, but seemingly, well, basically, I made the decision because of the way the games went earlier on in the season. The fact that we lost to Chelsea, so I felt that I needed to start my stronger team in that game to ensure that we stood the best possible chance of getting a result from that one, and then hoping to get a result in this one with the rotated side. You can see a number of opportunities already for both sides in this game. It's going to be Romelu Lukaku into Ander Herrera here. Plenty of red and black shirts flooding forward here. Matic across to Jesse Lingard. Wowzers, I think is the only word you could think of there. Jesse Lingard, an absolute thunderbolt into the top right-hand corner. How is that for a first-time hit? That's the sort of finish you will see the CPU do on ultimate difficulty. It's not every time, as you've seen throughout the course of even just this game, let alone the series as so far. But on the odd occasion, the AI will thump in an effort like that to just prove to you, yes, this is the highest difficulty, the new highest difficulty on the game. A couple of goals that are scored against you might be slightly unrealistic with the way that they're struck or the way that they go into the back of the net with these really strong high shot power, low shot error finishes from the AI. But I personally don't mind that. I would much prefer that Jesse Lingard scores a goal like that and I go 1-0 down and have the challenge of getting back into the game than the AI not creating chances and not scoring goals, as is the case on FIFA 18 and 17 and 16, etc. I'd much prefer this, as it's A, more fun to play, more challenging to come back from, and C, for you guys, makes for much more entertaining YouTube content as well. So I'm quite happy that Jesse Lingard scored a rather unrealistic first-time strike like that. It's not entirely unrealistic. Like, that is genuinely the sort of finish that you could see someone do IRL. But let's just move away from that, because there's been a bit of contention on Twitter with myself and a couple of other people in the community that some of the finishes that the AI are doing slightly out there and unrealistic. But I would much prefer that it is the way that it is than, you know, and it be a change to the way that the AI played in previous years, with them just keeping the ball, either not creating chances, or the chances that they do create, they're terrible with and don't score. So I'm quite happy with the way that Jesse Lingard scored that goal. And to be honest, we're 2-1 up here, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Until, of course, Romelu Lukaku on his right foot runs onto that loose ball as the pass was deflected, bobbles up in the air, and then he bends it into the top corner, and actually Manchester United put it back to 2-2. So with 5 minutes to go, and into stoppage time at the end of the half, it's currently a point apiece. Nemanja Matic will take the set piece, and bang! Worldy from Romelu Lukaku. Absolutely unbelievable from him. 3 goals of the highest quality in this game from Manchester United. The Jesse Lingard first-timer right into the top corner. Lukaku's weak foot first-time volley that bent around the keeper into the top bins. And then that overhead kick at the near post from Romelu Lukaku. Absolutely super. On his right foot as well, it has to be said. Again, on his weak foot. That is an unbelievable overhead kick from Romelu Lukaku. Outrageous finish to win Manchester United the Manchester Derby at Old Trafford in the final minute. The same way, not exactly the same way, because of course it was a slightly more spectacular goal, but in a similar fashion to the way that they did when Michael Owen scored the last minute winner at Old Trafford for Manchester United to win the Manchester Derby. So what does that do for the league table? We will find out at the end of the episode. We do, however, have a couple of Premier League games to play between now and then. Crucial that we pick up maximum points from those games. And of course, with an FA Cup semi-final against Everton on the horizon as well, I want to get through to the FA Cup final too. So we're currently 3-0 up here against Cardiff, sorry. So things going very well in this one. We are going to pick up maximum points from this game, even though there's still 20 minutes to go. Leroy Sané also picks up a second yellow and gets himself sent off. But we are able to get a 4-1 win as Raheem Sterling rounds it off in the 88th minute. Away from home against Crystal Palace, though, that's a difficult fixture. They are a decent team. Wilfried Zaha scored a great goal in real life this past weekend. Good solo effort. A little bit of controversy with him in the media, actually, talking about referees and lack of protection for players. But we go 1-0 up in the 41st minute, and within 60 seconds, Christian Benteke has equalised. So it's 1-1 as we push into the second half. With just 20 minutes to go, we're still locked at a goal apiece. Could really do with a winner here, lads, if you don't mind. But it is not to be. A point from Selhurst Park. A game against Tottenham Hotspur. We simulated the FA Cup game against Spurs, got the victory, and that's how we find ourselves up against Everton. We now have a Premier League game against Spurs, which again I'm finding myself having to simulate because we've already played Chelsea and Manchester United. Kyle Walker, the former Tottenham man, gives us a 1-0 lead in the 20th minute. Leroy Sané, who's now served his suspension, comes back into the starting lineup and scores. Raheem Sterling on the score sheet again. Heung-min Son in the 70th minute pulls one back for Spurs, but it isn't going to be enough. Kane then misses a penalty in the 88th. Had they scored that, who knows what could have happened in the final few moments. Another set of 3 points for us in the Premier League, hoping that Manchester United have dropped points, and Chelsea for that matter, have dropped points in the meantime during the course of those 3 Premier League games after we've played Chelsea and Manchester United. Leighton Baines gives Everton a 1-0 lead here by the penalty spot in the 12th minute in this FA Cup semi-final. But crucially, just before half-time, Kevin De Bruyne equalises. That gives us the impetus to push on in the second half, for KDB to pick up his and our second to give us a 2-1 lead just after the hour mark, and subsequently give us the victory to put us into the FA Cup final, which will be played, of course, in the next episode, which will come out later today. The series will be finished today. This will be the first of 3 episodes of this series on the channel today. So do make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any further content here on the channel. Hopefully, providing that the Tottenham Hotspur ground is in the game for early access launch, Then the Tottenham career mode will start tomorrow, as will the Journey start tomorrow too. If the Spurs ground isn't in the game, then I will wait on that series and we will have solely Journey footage, maybe the odd Ultimate Team video as well, pushing forward towards full launch next week. But Manchester City currently second in the table, and Manchester United, that last-minute goal from Romelu Lukaku has really swung the league table. If we'd drawn that, I'd be on 72, they'd be on 76, and I have a game in hand. I could go to within a point of them with 2 games to go. As it happens, I can only go to within 4 or 5 points of them if I win my game in hand, meaning the title is very much in Manchester United's hands right now. If I win, I'll go on 73. We'll be 5 points behind with 6 points available. That last-minute overhead kick from Romelu Lukaku may well have won Manchester United the league title here, which is particularly frustrating, especially considering the fact that we were 2-1 up with 5 minutes to go in that game, and a Lukaku brace looks like it's won the league title for the red half of the city. But we've still the FA Cup final to come later on today. We've still the remaining Premier League games where who knows what could happen. Look back to 2012, it all looked like it was going to be Manchester United's game and season until Sergio Aguero had something to say. So let's see. Find out a little bit later on this afternoon. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel too to make sure you don't miss out on any further content here on the channel once full launch comes or early access tomorrow. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.